Hey, what's up, guys? This is Crispy from ETR Gamer, bringing you a Dota 2 update. This will cover basically the recent patch, which released 3 new champions, also covering the Steam Workshop, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to jump right into it here with the Steam Workshop. Let me just change scene there so you can see what I'm saying. So, yeah, probably a week or two ago, the Steam Workshop, which was released. If you're playing Dota 2, you'll realize that you start getting items accumulate in your backpack, which I personally think is awesome. What happens is basically after a match, random allocation of items to the players that obviously played in that game. They can be anywhere from legendary to just like really common items. And you can basically go through and look at them all online, or at least the ones that are going into consideration. So people make ones and then you vote on them, and the most popular actually get implemented into the game. So here I am on the Steam Workshop, and you can jump right into it, like the collectibles here. You have full sets of armor, so I don't know if you're familiar with Bloodseeker, but this is one that's quite popular right now. It's full legendary. If that's a pretty small picture there. Let's have a look. Items. Yeah, it basically contains his item there. I'm trying to get a picture up for you guys, but yeah, so you can see that it replaces his war blades here with kind of werewolf iron blades, which is pretty sweet. There's some other ones there as well, but obviously these aren't as popular as the war glaives. So like I said, after each game they'll get allocated. So there's the full set there, by the way. Yeah, after each game they'll get allocated and they go into your bag, and you can either apply them straight away. Some other things that you might get allocated are like treasure chests, and to unlock these you'll actually need to pay like $2 or like $1.99 for a key that will unlock it. So this is kind of where Dota's going to get its money from, like these microtransactions, people wanting to customize their characters, which I personally think is quite good. They announced that every character will be free to play. You don't have to pay for them or like unlock them. They'll be available. So that's at least good. But if you want to go the extra step and customize your characters, then you're gonna have to pay for it, or at least be very lucky to get the items in the after each match. This is pretty much how the LoL League of Legends system works. Even though characters can be bought, they are unlocked free, and then if you want to get skins on them, you have to pay for them. So this is just kind of taking that the next step, which is individual customization. So not just a whole skin, but individual weapons as well. So yeah, personally I think it's an awesome, and I'm awaiting some cool releases. Obviously the characters I play haven't really got much items out for them yet. They're just following the main ones, like I think Nature's Prophet, who else? Sven, Axe, yeah, or Bloodseeker. They've pretty much got full skins out right now, but characters like Ricky and the later developed heroes don't. So I'm waiting for that, but as time comes, they will also. What I'm going to do now is also jump into the recent patch. This was basically today. They released this Monday in America, but we had to wait till Tuesday here in Australia, so just the time difference. It, along with a lot of other things, it incorporated 3 new champions. So I'm just on basically the Dota 2 wiki here, which will show you all the other previous updates and the nice little image of what champion was released. I started just after Invoker there, so anyway. 3 new champions: Chaos Knight, Gyrocopter, and Phantom Assassin. Personal favourite there, but I'll explain that in detail. I'll jump right into it with Chaos Knight. He seems pretty cool. Now, all these like champion spotlights can be viewed on their YouTube, which is Dota Cinema. If you want to subscribe to them, they're pretty good. They release all the patches and details regarding that, but yeah, you can check that out. But here is Chaos Knight. This is just basically more about the mechanics of each thing and the damages associated with it. When they release a champion spotlight, they won't talk about like individual damages and things like that. So anyway, Chaos Knight's pretty awesome. If you haven't seen him, he rides on a horse. Pretty scary looking guy. He has his moves a Chaos Bolt, which is basically a stun and mild damage there. Yeah, there you go. So it's good to bridge that gap kind of initiate there. His other one is Reality Shift, which looks awesome. Basically, when he casts on an enemy unit, it's a midway point, so it pulls him to his enemy and his enemy to him, and they meet halfway through that distance. So you can see that it basically upgrades with range, which is nice. So even though it's 700 range there, that's quite far. You would meet at 450, so you're meeting halfway. Yeah, and you also get bonus damage, so that's quite nice. Only lasts 1.2 seconds, so unless you've got a really quick attack speed, that's only going to be about one attack or maybe two. You can read the notes there. Yeah, between 30 and 80% of the distance, so roughly in that radius. Its main mechanic is this illusions, which I'll talk about in a second. Chaos Strike, basically, Chaos Knight's mojo gives him a chance to deal bonus damage, so he's obviously a guy with a lot of mojo there, but critical chance 10%, and it goes up to a 3 times multiplier, which is huge. That's one of the biggest critical strike damages, not taking into account Phantom Assassin. So anyway, and then Phantasm is his ultimate there, which basically summons several copies of Chaos Knight, which I'll talk about in a second. So he basically creates illusions. They deal full damage but take double damage. So that's incredibly good. That full damage, combined with that chance to crit, is pretty good. Now what happens is when he does his reality shift, within a 1400 radius, which is pretty huge, all his illusions or phantasms teleport to him. So say he's he's ganking you and you think you can take him one-on-one, but suddenly there's 4 of him dealing full damage and you don't know which one is him, then yeah, it's a lot more scary. Like, he's bound to get a kill out of that. What I've noticed playing online today is when he does it, he also switches to one of the random, so one of the 3 random. So there'll be 4 people in total and one of them will be real, and he can be any of those. It's not like he doesn't stay in the same position, say like Phantom Lancer. He moves between them, so that's pretty awesome. Anyway, I recommend him. He's pretty tough, and as well with a bit of crit, he's pretty devastating. So definitely check him out. He's a pretty cool guy. I'll jump into Gyrocopter. For those familiar with League of Legends, he looks a lot like what's his name? I can't remember it, but there's another guy but obviously it comes from the Warcraft 3 version, and yeah, basically he's awesome. Today I found that homing missile is beast. It's pretty awesome. Basically launches a missile that's got a huge cast range, and it just follows you, and you can actually target the rocket in the air, you can shoot it down, but the speed that it travels, I haven't seen many players actually do that. If it's chasing yourself, you can't really shoot it down, but your teammates definitely can. It's got a stun of 2.5 seconds, so it's a great initiator. Basically, he launches that in and stuns you for 2.5 seconds. Within that time, anything can happen. You could, get hooked, stun locked for a long period of time, things like that. But the damage, it's not that great. It can go up to 440 depending on how far it goes. So if you do run the full 2,000 units away, you're going to take a bit of damage. But I would say it's mostly about the stun duration. I've seen people launch it in really close range just to get that stun, and it's pretty sick. Rocket barrage, basically he sets it off and it lasts 3 seconds, and people around him just nearby get hit with the rockets. They do a bit of damage, but I'll talk about that at the end because I've seen not many players max that. His other one, Flat Cannon, very awesome. Basically his attacks just hit all enemies instead of just one enemy in front of him. It hits all of them. Great for farming. I'll explain that in a second, but it's pretty beast. And yeah, it lasts a few attacks, only 15 seconds, but it just multiplies his damage. A team fight's going down, he's attacking everyone instead of one person. You can imagine, that's pretty useful. And then his ultimate cooldown is basically he selects a target area and calls down a missile or 2 missiles from that. The first one deals a bit of damage, in the second one, there you go, you can have the damages there. First one deals 250, and then the second one deals 100, and that scales up. The second one's always going to be the weakest. Pretty good. And when you get an Agam Scepter, it makes it global, which is good for kind of helping out teammates, because it's got a movement slow in there. So if you can launch it across the map and slow down an enemy's movement so they can get ganked easier, yeah, nice. Or at least cut off their retreat. Okay, so let me talk about Flat Cannon. uh, awesome for farming creeps. What I've seen people do online is basically pull the ancient golems or the ancient monsters. So if you're familiar with those, they're the higher level ones that give the most gold, and basically stack them up. So if you know anything about stacking, what you do is you pull them around 55 seconds, so near the minute. What happens is you pull them out of like range of sight, and every minute the monsters in the jungle basically respawn. So you get 2 camps of monsters there instead of 1, and you keep doing that until you've got 3 or 4 camps of ancient monsters there, and then you pop flat cannon and kind of cut them down, and yeah, you get that splash damage on them, and it kills the whole group of them very efficiently. So really good way of farming gold and XP, and little hassle involved with it. Online today I saw someone just basically didn't even go with rocket barrage, didn't even max that, because this was more damage. Instead of going into close combat and trying to launch these rockets, they would just basically turn this on and shoot them from a distance, and it worked quite well. Coupled with a 2.5 second stun, you can get quite a few hits out, build basically damage and attack speed, and you'll be fine. Now, on to Phantom Assassin, one of my faves. She's a bit of a babe. They, just before releasing the patch, they also changed her costume. You can see here on the right hand side that it's kind of a goldy green. They basically changed it to black and grey, so she's much more stealth. She is basically an assassin, so she's got a high nuke, the highest in the game so far, so I'll talk about that in a second. Stifling Dagger, great for maxing first. You farm creeps with it because it does true damage against creeps, and it's also got a huge range, so it's good for slowing down players, 50% slow, so yeah, that's quite nice. Phantom Strike, it's a lot like Ricky's Shadow Strike, I think it's called, which basically blinks them to an enemy or a friendly. It's got a bigger range, and you get bonus attack speed, so 100% attack speed bonus, or for 4 attacks. So if you can't get your 4 attacks out in that time, it's basically duration 3 seconds or 4 attacks. So in case like someone was just stacking attack speed and then they got an extra bonus and could pump out like 10 attacks in 3 seconds, they've just kind of put a cap on that. So that, a balancing issue there. But okay, Blur, basically in Warcraft 3, so on the Warcraft 3 engine, this was pretty much an invisibility. What happened was the blur related to her actual physical model that got like harder and harder to see, up to a point of like 80% transparency. However, they've changed it around in this game. On the Dota 2 engine, you do get hard to see, but you still have your health bar there, which is obviously very easy to point out where she is. So you'll never run into the issue what happened in Warcraft 3 where like you couldn't see her because she was 80% transparent and it was virtually like a permanent stealth. In Dota 2 they've just basically removed that. You can always kind of see her. It's more revolving around this evasion, so you get up to 35%. This doesn't stack with items like Butterfly, so yeah, I wouldn't be getting that, even though it sounds like a good item on her. Yeah, but she's still hard to see, and that kind of stacks when she's around friendly people. So, yeah, it's pretty sick. Anyway, her ult, probably the best thing in the game. I love it. It gives her 15% chance to do 4 times damage, which is crazy. You'll be seeing 1k ults as like a regular, which is obviously bad news for any squishy mage out there. It's also got a really cool animation. I definitely recommend jumping in there or pulling up a YouTube of it. So what happens is like blood sprays out of the enemy, or if it's a cannon creep, it's like the mechanical parts that spray out of it, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, so basically she jumps on you, she gets 4 attacks, and if one of them is, this critical hit, then you're going to be taking a lot of damage. I've seen her build Lifesteal, Battle Fury pretty regularly. What else? Yeah, get a BKB on her. That makes her pretty much invulnerable in team fights, because with the Lifesteal and the crit chance, if she's got a BKB and you can't stun her, then she just keeps on hitting and can lifesteal it back. So pretty awesome. Now, something happened today which was I'm trying to get the replay out for you guys, but I've seen a 3.4k crit which is obviously a one hit for pretty much any character in the game there. What happened was the enemy team had a Gyrocopter, and he was farming basically the whole game, and his first item was a Divine Rapier, and then his second item was a Divine Rapier. So, well, he got boots, of course, first, but he had two Divines on him. And, as all things good, it came to an end, and he died. They got transferred over to someone on, Phantom Assassin's team, and the game went on, and it was, I think it was Dragon Knight that picked up the two Divines. Anyway, Dragon Knight died, and Phantom Assassin picked up two Divine Rapiers, so it was about 200 damage plus 700, which was ridiculous. So here comes Viper, and she basically jumped on Viper and did a 3.4k crit, so that was an instant kill. Well over an instant kill, actually. So, yeah, it was pretty one-sided from there on out. Phantom Assassin won the game pretty soon after that. I only saw one 3.4k crit, so, yeah, it was pretty awesome. But she's definitely one of those characters, if she gets the ball rolling, she's just going to steamroll the whole team. So, yeah, watch out for that. But in saying that, if you get maybe a Blade Mail, that would be a nice way to counter her, or Scepter Blade, I think it is, or Ghost Scepter. Ghost Scepter. You basically make sure she can't do physical damage, and she takes more damage from magic abilities. So yeah, very useful in countering her. But I will be playing her a lot, kind of training her up. I've been playing Tiny a bit recently. I found him pretty awesome, but I might put up some gameplay of me and a friend that we're doing, pre-made twos there. So anyway, guys, that's basically the patch there. So if you've got any questions about it, just pop them in the comments below. Anything about the workshop as well. I'm pretty new to it, so I haven't gone too in depth, but I know you can create items and things like that. I don't think I will be, but I'm not that good with modeling and stuff, but just play the game really. And if you want to play in game, you can add me. My name's The Crisp. I'll be sure to add any Dota requests there. But yeah, leave questions in the comments below. Anything about Dota 2, I'd be more than happy to answer there. So yeah, anyway, this is Crispy from ETR.